Absolutely. Is he better than Floyd Mayweather right now?
I'm not going to sit up here and say that. I think that Floyd Mayweather was such a magician defensively. And we have to look at Floyd Money Mayweather in this regard. Once he moved up to welterweight, his hands were always damaged. So he kind of knew he wasn't going to be able to knock you out for the most part. And still, he walked into the ring.
This run go from here? Does he continue at 168 or does he go back down to 154?
I think he goes back down to 154. The Charlos of the world, fight them.
Sebastian Fundora.
But I don't think he stays at super middleweight unless he wants to fight David Benavidez, and I don't think anybody wants to fight. And put on masterful performances because he was so superior, skill-wise and defensively. You can't say enough. Tonight with Crawford, for example, we saw him take a punch on several occasions. With Floyd, we didn't see that too often.
All right, Steven, what's your reaction to this victory? Terence Crawford was sensational. What's your reaction?
Not surprised. I'm taking the win by decision coming in this fight. Watching Canelo, seeing his career, suspected he wasn't going to get knocked out, especially by the smaller man. But did Crawford have enough power and boxing skill to keep Canelo off of him to some degree? For the most part, that answer was yes. But then he stepped in there and he exchanged back and forth on several occasions and survived and prospered. And I got to give credit where credit is due. I picked him to win by decision, but I never expected.
Alright, fellas. Canelo and Crawford. It finally happened. The almost unbelievable matchup did come true, and we just witnessed two of the absolute greatest of our time sharing the ring. It's rare to see a fight carry this much weight, this much anticipation, and it didn't disappoint. Going into this fight, the questions were swirling. Would Crawford adapt to the weight? Could he handle the sheer power that Canelo brings? And for Canelo, the question hanging over him was, could he deliver a statement performance? Could he silence all the criticism that's been aimed at him regarding his last few fights? Well, we certainly got our answers. It wasn't a walkover, it wasn't a blowout, but it was a truly remarkable display of skill and determination. I want to break down exactly what we saw in the fight, dissect what this performance means for both fighters' legacies, and, of course, address that burning question, what's next? Because, let's be honest, after a fight of this magnitude, the boxing world is already buzzing with possibilities. But before we dive in, just a quick reminder, if you're a boxing fan, you found your one-stop shop. My name's Closter, and I'm here to bring you boxing videos as things happen, keeping you informed and in the loop. So make sure to subscribe. It's the best way to stay updated on everything happening in the sweet science. Now, let's rewind a little. Fight week itself didn't really throw up any massive surprises. It was pretty much business as usual, and that's why I didn't end up covering it extensively. There just wasn't anything particularly huge to note. However, one detail did stand out. The size difference between the two fighters wasn't as significant as some had predicted. They both looked remarkably similar in size, and both were in incredible shape. It was a true clash of titans, and the physical condition of both fighters reflected that. The venue for this fight was also something special. This was the first ever boxing fight at the Allegiant Stadium. They packed tens of thousands of fans in, creating an electric atmosphere. It looked absolutely fantastic. The sheer scale of the stadium amplified the drama and excitement of the event, making it a truly unforgettable experience for everyone in attendance. Now, the undercard overall was a mixed bag. Some great fights, absolutely, but also some real stinkers. But outside the main event, probably the most entertaining bout of the undercard was the MB Martinez fight. So if you missed the undercard but are interested in seeing some quality boxing, that's definitely worth a watch. But let's be real, everyone was only there for the main event. After months of hype and anticipation, the moment finally arrived. Crawford and Canelo standing across from each other with only the referee, Thomas Taylor, standing between them. The tension was palpable. The opening rounds were tense, with both fighters settling into a rhythm, feeling each other out, establishing their game plan. Canelo, known as a notoriously slow starter, did go to the body early, attempting to soften Crawford up and wear him down. Meanwhile, Crawford's southpaw jab kept him in control of the distance, a constant reminder of his reach and technical skill. The first few rounds were close, very close, but Crawford's sharper counters and combination punching seemed to give him the early edge. Even as Canelo tried to impose himself with those heavy body shots, Crawford was landing clean and precise, making his presence felt. By the middle rounds, the pace did pick up. Canelo continued digging into Crawford's ribs, trying to break down his defenses, while Crawford, he was countering beautifully, demonstrating incredible timing and accuracy. Canelo did have a better round in the fifth, showing his championship grit, but Crawford, not liking this momentum shift, came out in the sixth looking to retake control. He knew he had to impose himself to stop Canelo's forward momentum, and that's exactly what he did. You could see the calculation in his eyes, the determination to reassert his dominance. As the fight wore on, Crawford's precision started to truly separate him from Alvarez. He peppered Canelo with sharp combinations, finding success on the inside and timing his left hand beautifully. It wasn't just about landing individual punches. It was about the relentless flow of punches, the sheer volume and accuracy that started to wear down Canelo's defenses. He was outmaneuvering the Mexican champion, dictating the pace and landing the cleaner shots. Then came a pivotal moment.
What more can I say? What would you like to see him do next? You think there's another fight after this? I'd like to see him be done. What are we boxing for at this point? What else is there to do? There's always going to be a YouTuber or a reporter or somebody conjuring up another challenge.
An accidental clash of heads opened up a cut over Crawford's right thigh, giving Alvarez a glimmer of hope. For a brief moment, it seemed like Canelo might have a chance to capitalize on the situation, to push for a stoppage. But Bud, as he's known, remained composed. He didn't panic, didn't let the situation rattle him. He showed the poise and mental fortitude of a true champion. In the championship rounds, Crawford's confidence was radiating. He was clearly in control, dictating the terms of the fight. He continued to land those sharp combinations, demonstrating his superior hand speed and footwork. The crowd was on its feet, witnessing a masterclass in boxing. There was a sense of inevitability, a feeling that Crawford was going to secure the victory. He continued to maintain the rhythm, making the right decisions at the right time. What does this performance mean for both fighters? For Crawford, it solidifies his place among the all-time greats. He's defeated one of the biggest names in boxing, silencing the doubters and proving that he belongs at the very top of the sport. It's a career-defining victory for him. For Canelo, it's a setback, no doubt. He didn't perform at his best, and he's now on a losing streak. The questions surrounding his recent performances will only intensify. He needs to reassess his approach, to come back stronger and prove that he can still compete at the highest level. The victory wasn't a knockout, it wasn't a devastating finish, but the scoring was clear. Crawford won convincingly on all three scorecards. It was a deserved victory for a fighter who displayed skill, determination, and unwavering composure throughout the fight. He adapted to Canelo's strategy, neutralized his power, and ultimately dictated the pace and rhythm of the entire fight. Now, let's address that burning question. What's next? The boxing world is already buzzing with possibilities. Could we see a rematch between Crawford and Canelo? It's certainly a possibility, but Canelo would need to significantly improve his performance to have a chance. Who else could Crawford face? Jermall Charlo, the undisputed light middleweight champion, is a name that's been mentioned. A fight against him would create a massive event. For Canelo, he needs to reevaluate his career, assess his options, and come back stronger. He's still a huge draw, but he needs to prove that he can still compete at the highest level. This fight will be remembered as a defining moment in boxing history. It was a clash of titans, a battle of skill and determination, and it was a victory for Crawford, a fighter who has earned his place among the all-time greats. It's a fight that fans will be talking about for years to come, a testament to the power and beauty of the sweet science. And as always, stay tuned for more boxing content as things happen. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and let's keep the conversation going. What did you think of the fight? Let me know in the comments below. The biggest bout commercially they could make for either fighter next. It's a question of leverage now, and Crawford has it. Canelo, on the other hand, is in a difficult position. He needs to reevaluate everything. He's still a massive draw, don't get me wrong, but the narrative has shifted. The aura of invincibility, that feeling that he was unstoppable, it's been damaged. It's been dented. And it's not just about the loss itself, it's about how he lost. He just couldn't figure Crawford out. He couldn't trap him. He couldn't land that fight-altering shot. It wasn't a lack of effort. Canelo fought hard. He tried different tactics, but Crawford anticipated everything. And that's what's truly concerning for Canelo and his team. It's not just about physical adjustments, it's about a mental reset. Can they find a new approach, a new strategy that will allow him to regain that dominance? This isn't about blaming Canelo either. He's had a remarkable career. He's achieved so much, but even the greatest champions face adversity. The key is how they respond to it. Do they retreat into denial, or do they embrace the challenge and come back stronger? That's the question that will define the next chapter of Canelo's career. And frankly, the boxing world is watching intently. Now, let's talk about the magnitude of what Crawford has accomplished. Becoming the undisputed super middleweight champion, adding it to his already impressive list of titles, is an extraordinary feat, and the fact that he did it while remaining undefeated, while consistently demonstrating that level of skill, composure, and adaptability.
Do that, his condition seemed impeccable, and his strength was there, the power was there enough to get respect from Canelo. So
let's really highlight something that just wasn't given enough attention during the broadcast. Crawford is the first male fighter to become a 3-division undisputed champion. Think about that for a moment. That's an achievement that places him amongst the absolute elite, a select group of legends who have conquered multiple weight classes at the highest level. It's a testament to his versatility, his dedication, and his unwavering belief in himself. And let's not forget the impact this victory has on his commercial value. For years, Crawford has been a mainstay of the pound-for-pound rankings, widely recognized as one of the very best in the sport. But he's always been somewhat overshadowed by the bigger names, the more marketable stars. Until now. This victory against Canelo changes everything. Suddenly, Crawford is in a whole new league in terms of global recognition. His commercial upside is through the roof. He's now a household name, a star with the potential to draw massive audiences worldwide. And that's a game changer for everyone involved, for Crawford, for his promoters, for the sport itself. Now, some people might argue that Crawford should retire on top. He's 35 years old, a seasoned veteran who has already achieved so much. Why risk it all? Why not walk away with that legacy intact? And you know, there's a valid argument to be made, but I don't think that's going to happen. The financial incentives are just as strong. Crawford has earned the right to cash in on this newfound fame and popularity. He deserves to reap the rewards of his hard work and dedication. And from a purely strategic perspective, Crawford's team isn't going to let him retire just yet. There are still opportunities to be exploited, fights to be made, and titles to be defended. They're going to milk this moment for all it's worth. They're going to keep Crawford active, keep him in the spotlight, and keep the money flowing. And who can blame them? The reality is, boxing is a business. And in the business of boxing, you have to seize every opportunity to maximize your profits. And right now, Terence Crawford is the hottest commodity in the sport. He's the one everyone wants to see. He's the one generating the most buzz. He's the one driving the biggest pay-per-view numbers. He's the one dictating the terms of the conversation. And that's why a rematch with Canelo is almost inevitable. Despite the lopsided nature of their first encounter, the demand for a second fight will be immense. People want to see if Canelo can make the necessary adjustments to turn the tables. They want to witness whether Crawford can continue his reign of dominance. They want to see if the narrative can be rewritten. And of course, they want to see the fireworks. But the rematch won't be a formality. Canelo isn't going to roll over and accept defeat. He's a warrior, a competitor, a champion. He's going to come back with a renewed sense of purpose, a new strategy, and a burning desire to prove himself. He's going to train harder than ever before, study Crawford's weaknesses, and prepare for the fight of his life. And that's what makes boxing so compelling. It's not just about the skill, the athleticism, or the tactics. It's about the human drama, the perseverance, the resilience. It's about witnessing the triumph of the human spirit in the face of adversity. For Canelo, this isn't just about regaining his championship. It's about restoring his legacy. It's about proving to himself and to the world that he's still a force to be reckoned with. And for Crawford, it's about solidifying his place amongst the all-time greats. It's about silencing the doubters, answering the critics, and proving that he's the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. The next few months are going to be fascinating. We're going to see how Canelo responds to this setback. We're going to witness how Crawford handles the pressure of being the undisputed champion. And we're going to anticipate the rematch, knowing that it has the potential to be an even bigger spectacle than the first encounter. And regardless of what happens next, one thing is certain: Terence Crawford has forever etched his name in the annals of boxing history. He's proven himself to be a true champion, a warrior, a master of his craft. He's a fighter who embodies the values of dedication, perseverance, and unwavering belief in oneself. And he's a fighter who has inspired countless fans around the world. He's redefined what it means to be a champion. He didn't just beat Canelo, he dismantled him, mentally, physically.
That performance from Canelo, from Terence. Terence Crawford, great performance, man. He's been doing this throughout the course of his career. The stakes were a lot different in this fight, a lot more danger. He had to fight that kind of fight in order to beat Canelo Alvarez tonight, and he did that at 38, 37, but getting ready to be 38 years old. And he proved, like Max said, that he is the GOAT of this generation. Hats off to Canelo.
This wasn't just a victory. It was a statement, a declaration of dominance that reverberates throughout the boxing world. The fight has changed everything, and boxing fans will be talking about this for years to come. And it's not just about the immediate rematch, folks. It's about the landscape of boxing itself. Crawford's performance wasn't just a victory. It was a recalibration. It fundamentally shifted the power dynamics within the sport. He didn't just beat Canelo. He redefined the standard for greatness. Three-weight undisputed champion? It's a level of achievement that, frankly, might not be seen again in our lifetimes. The sheer dominance, the technical brilliance. It's a testament to years of dedication, unwavering belief, and a refusal to settle for anything less than perfection. Think about it, we're witnessing a fighter operating on another plane, dismantling an icon in a way few ever thought possible. The question now becomes, what does this mean for Canelo? The expectation surrounding Canelo has always been immense. He's carried the weight of a nation, the hopes of millions, and the pressure of maintaining an almost mythical status. This wasn't just a loss. It was a humbling experience, a stark reminder that even the greats are vulnerable. He's going to have to dissect that fight, analyze every single mistake, and fundamentally rethink his approach. He's going to have to confront the uncomfortable truth that he wasn't the better fighter on that night. And the real test of a champion isn't just about winning. It's about how you respond to adversity. It's about the ability to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and come back stronger than before. Canelo has always been a warrior, a competitor. He's proven time and time again that he has the heart of a lion. But heart alone isn't enough. He's going to need a new game plan, a revised strategy, and a renewed sense of purpose. Now, let's talk about the potential for a rematch. The Saudis, they're not just throwing money around. They're strategically investing in the sport. They've got a brand to build, a vision to execute, and boxing is a key component of that plan. This whole Riyadh season concept isn't just a gimmick. It's a carefully orchestrated campaign to elevate Saudi Arabia's profile to the global stage. And Canelo undeniably is a massive draw. The numbers don't lie. He's consistently delivered impressive pay-per-view numbers. He brings a global audience, and that's invaluable to the Saudis. So from a purely financial perspective, a rematch is a no-brainer. It ticks all the right boxes. Promotion, visibility, revenue, it's a win-win scenario. Canelo has a fight left on his contract with them, and they're committed to showcasing the biggest names in the sport. Putting Canelo against Crawford again? It would generate far more buzz, attract a wider audience, and ultimately provide a more favorable return on investment compared to, say, pitting him against someone like Eubank or Billy. It's a question of scale, of impact. It's about maximizing the spectacle, and frankly, the rematch delivers. Of course, there's always the possibility that someone might decide to retire. It's a brutal sport, and the physical toll is immense. But assuming both fighters remain committed to their careers, I firmly believe that a rematch is almost inevitable. But it's not just about Canelo's response. It's also about the other potential contenders. Hamza Shars is a name you're going to hear a lot more of. He's a darling of the Riyadh season, a rising star who's capturing the attention of promoters and fans alike. He's got that charisma, that undeniable appeal. The promoters love him, and his recent knockout of Balanga only solidified his position as a rising force. He's absolutely in line for a title shot, and don't be surprised to see his name thrown about frequently in the near future. Then you got Billy. He had a chance to elevate his profile, to potentially step into the spotlight, but his fight didn't go his way. Now he's likely facing a rematch with Martinez and Eubank, which frankly isn't a particularly appealing matchup for anyone. It's a one-sided mess waiting to happen. I truly hope we don't see that. It would be a disservice to the sport, to the fans. We want competitive fights. We want compelling narratives, and that rematch just doesn't have it. Another name that could potentially surface is Bivol. There's a trilogy fight tentatively planned, but Better BF's recovery from surgery throws a...
How special a fighter is someone like Terence Crawford to... Like, there was no signs of a size disadvantage there. How special... you can see it in spots, but it wasn't significant. And I didn't think it was going to be significant. And people call me crazy, but I've been around Terence. He's strong.
If Bivol decides to move on, to pursue other opportunities, then a fight with Bud might be on the table. But of course, he would have to move down and wait to make that fight happen. It's a significant challenge, but not an insurmountable one. The key is his willingness to adapt, to compromise. Interestingly, Crawford completely shut down any talk of a fight with Boots in the post-fight presser. So I guess that door is officially closed. It's a definitive statement, a clear indication that his focus is elsewhere. But at the end of the day, all the speculation, all the analysis, it all comes down to appreciating the moment. Crawford didn't just win a fight. He delivered a performance that sent shockwaves through the boxing world. He redefined greatness. He elevated the sport. He has put himself in a unique place within the annals of history. A three-weight undisputed champion? It's a level of achievement that's almost unimaginable. He chased greatness and he pulled it off. Nights like these are what make boxing so special. It's not just about the athleticism, the skill, or the tactics. It's about the human drama, the perseverance, the resilience. It's about witnessing the triumph of the human spirit in the face of adversity. And simply no other sport can replicate that feeling. The atmosphere, the anticipation, the raw emotion. It's electric. These are the nights that define a generation, the moments that fans will remember for years to come. So I want to hear from you, folks. What were your scorecards? What did you think of their performances? And what do you see next for both of them? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed the video, please make sure to like and subscribe. It really does help the channel grow. Thanks for watching, fellas, and I'll catch you in the next one. And it's a legacy, a place few, if any, ever truly reach. And the question now, isn't it? Where do these two titans go from here? Because the landscape has fundamentally shifted. Crawford's performance wasn't just a win. It was a statement. It was a declaration. And the ripple effects are going to be felt throughout the entire boxing world. Now, let's bring in Mike. Mike, you're seeing this unfold in real time. You're a living legend. What's your immediate reaction to Crawford's dominance? What does this mean for the division, for the sport? Mike Tyson speaks. Look, man, I ain't gonna lie. I saw a masterclass. Crawford wasn't just beating him. He was dissecting him. He was picking him apart layer by layer. Canelo's a beast, no doubt. One of the best we've seen. But tonight, he was neutralized. It ain't always about brute force, you know? It's about strategy, about understanding your opponent and exploiting their weaknesses. Crawford, he understood. He made adjustments. He controlled the pace. He dictated the fight. That's what separates the good from the great. And tonight, Crawford, he showed he's among the greatest we've ever seen. The question now is, can Canelo adapt? Can he reinvent himself? He's got the power, the athleticism, but does he have the fight IQ to hang with a guy like Crawford? That's the crucial point, isn't it? Canelo's been so dominant for so long, he's gotten used to imposing his will. He's used to walking guys down, breaking them down with relentless pressure. But Crawford didn't allow that. He neutralized that approach. He forced Canelo to fight his fight, and the result was predictable in hindsight, but nonetheless shocking to witness. And let's hear from Floyd. Floyd, you've been there. You understand what it takes to reach that level of dominance. What did you see in Crawford's performance that resonated with your own career? Floyd Mayweather speaks Stephen, you see it. It's about control. It's about dictating the terms of the fight. Canelo, he's a champion, undeniably, but tonight, he was playing catch up. He was reacting. Crawford, he was the puppeteer. He was pulling the strings. He was making Canelo dance to his tune. And that, Stephen, is the mark of a true artist. It's not just about hitting hard. It's about making your opponent uncomfortable. It's about breaking them mentally as well as physically. And Crawford, he did that with precision, with intelligence, with a level of artistry that is truly rare. I see a fighter who isn't just content with winning. He strives for perfection. He wants to elevate the sport. And nights like tonight, they elevate everyone. Floyd's right. It's not just about winning. It's about the how. It's about the artistry.
We box to get ourselves in a better financial position, to build a name and a legacy. Those boxes are checked. What else are we doing? Why are we still in the game?
Yeah, I get it. Andre always.
Crawford's performance was a masterclass in boxing strategy. He didn't simply outbox Canelo. He dismantled him strategically and systematically. He exposed vulnerabilities that few fighters have the ability to exploit. And that's what makes him so dangerous, so compelling. Now, let's talk about Canelo. What's next for him? He's got options, of course. He's still a massive draw. He's still one of the biggest names in the sport. But his options are no longer limitless. He's got to seriously reevaluate his approach, his training, his game plan. He can't keep relying on brute force and raw power. He needs to become a smarter fighter, a more adaptable fighter, a fighter who can compete with guys like Crawford. The rematch, of course, is the fight everyone will be clamoring for. But let's be honest, does it really make sense? Canelo needs to prove he can compete at this level before he even deserves a rematch. He needs to make significant adjustments, demonstrate a clear evolution in his fighting style. Otherwise, it's just going to be another embarrassing defeat. And that's something nobody wants to see. Billy, you had your opportunity, and it didn't go your way. But this landscape, this changes everything. How do you see the immediate fallout impacting the contenders? Billy speaks it's tough. Stephen, a really tough. Canelo was supposed to be the gatekeeper to the upper echelon. He was the benchmark, and Crawford just walked right through him. Now, everyone's scrambling to figure out where they fit in this new order. The Martinez and Eubank rematch. That's looking even less appealing now, to be frank. It feels like a consolation prize. The real contenders are going to be eyeing Crawford. But facing him? That's a different level of challenge altogether, exactly. The entire hierarchy has been reshuffled. The contenders now have a new measuring stick, and it's Crawford. The question now becomes, who steps up? Who wants to challenge the new king? And let's not forget about Bivol. The potential trilogy fight was on the table, but that surgery has thrown a wrench into those plans. But if Bivol is healthy, and if he's willing to move down in weight, a fight with Bud could be on the table. But that's a massive if. It's a significant challenge, both physically and strategically. Crawford shutting down the talk of a fight with Boots. That's telling. It's a definitive statement. It's a clear indication that his focus is elsewhere. He's setting the terms. He's dictating the narrative. And he's making it very clear who he wants to fight. We need to appreciate the moment. Crawford didn't just win a fight. He delivered a performance that sent shockwaves through the boxing world. He redefined greatness. He elevated the sport. He put himself in a unique place within the annals of history. A three-weight undisputed champion? It's a level of achievement that's almost unimaginable. He chased greatness and he pulled it off. These nights, these are what make boxing so special. It's not just about the athleticism, the skill, or the tactics. It's about the human drama, the perseverance, the resilience. It's about witnessing the triumph of the human spirit in the face of adversity. And simply no other sport can replicate that feeling. The atmosphere, the anticipation, the raw emotion. It's electric. These are the nights that define a generation, the moments that fans will remember for years to come. And the implications. They ripple far beyond the ring. They affect the promoters, the networks, the sponsors. They shift the power dynamics. They redefine the landscape. And they create new opportunities. Canelo's journey now becomes one of redemption. He needs to prove that he can learn from this experience, that he can evolve, that he can adapt. He needs to prove that he's not just a product of a specific game plan, but a true champion. And the fans deserve to see it. They deserve to witness a true battle of wills, a clash of titans. They deserve to see two of the greatest fighters of all time pushing each other to their absolute limits. So, what are your thoughts, folks? What were your scorecards? What did you think of their performances? And what do you see next for both of them? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed the video, please make sure to like and subscribe. It really does help the channel grow. Thank you all for watching. And the fans deserve to see it. They deserve to witness a true battle of wills, a clash of titans. They deserve to see two of the greatest fighters of all time pushing each other